it came up last night, and I remember a time in my life where I was resentful, and it was with the kids. And because when I got divorced, it was very difficult to kind of like navigate that, because it was like I was a single woman, yet I had these children that I had to take care of. And because of everything that I went through, it was like I just wanted to kind of be out there and dating and stuff. And I couldn't do it because my ex was not really involved that much. So therefore I had the kids all of the time. So I started to get resentment because I felt as though I had to take care of these kids. I know it sounds crazy, but that's where I was in my headspace. Just being honest here. So I was very resentful about the kids. And, you know, sometimes we get that resentment because we feel like we don't have any control. And so if you've ever been resentful in your life, it's like it's crucial that you recognize like where that's coming from, because in order to release that resentment, we have to know where it comes from. And this is what we do in the mentorship. We identify the limiting beliefs, we identify the emotional triggers, and basically what they go back to. So you have to ask yourself, if you have resentment towards somebody, if you have resentment towards a situation, like why is that resentment there? And it's important, I hope, I'm just going to mute you, babe. So it's important that we identify those things for us. So if you have resentment in your life, you have to ask yourself, what am I feeling about this? What is coming up for me around it? So yesterday it was because there was a loss of control. The woman I was working with was doing everything for everybody else, but nothing for herself. And when you do everything for everybody else, and like I work with a lot of codependent women. So if you're codependent, a lot of empaths as well. So like we love to help other people, but if we're always helping other people and we don't receive that back, right? We get resentful. We get angry because it's like, oh, I helped this person. Well, why didn't they do this for me? Or like nobody ever does it for me. And we get that resentment. And we talk about this around boundaries in the mentorship, where it's like, basically, it's like you're expecting something back when you actually help them. And we got to let go of that. We help because we want to help, not because we expect something back in return. So today we're going to do this energy healing to kind of let go of that resentment. So I'm going to ask you right here, right now, like, what are you holding on resentment to? And especially if you've been divorced with a narcissistic ex, like, are you still holding on resentment to this ex that you have? Are you holding on to resentment that people have judged you for whatever, wherever you are in your life, or even if you're into the spirituality stuff, like where are you holding that resentment? Because it's time to let that go, right? We don't want to wish bad karma on anybody. We just want them to live their lives and let us live our lives. So we have to let go of the resentment. So where is that? And I want that to kind of really come up for you right now so that we can release that here. So let me know in the comments, like, does that resonate with you? Are you still holding on to resentment for some stuff? Do you still feel that? Yes. Okay, cool. Possibly. Yeah, so I want you to really identify that here, because the more you can identify what you need to let go of and then do energy healing, it's going to help so much better. It's going to have a bigger impact on you. All right, so here we go. And then throughout the session, if I do get anything, I'll write that down and I will tell you guys about that afterwards, okay? All you've got to do is just close your eyes. I'm going to ask you to take a couple deep breaths, kind of like on YouTube if you've ever seen it there. And then just whatever thoughts come in, just let them come in and let them flow out. So go ahead and get comfortable. All right, go ahead and take a deep breath in. And let it out. And take another deep breath in. And then go ahead and let that out. We're going to call in Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael to help you really kind of cut the cords with that resentment, to let go of what is still holding you down, still holding you back from getting to where you want to be. You can release that. All right, whatever thoughts come in, they come in, let them out. Here we go. ahead and take a deep breath in. And let it out. And take another deep breath in. And go ahead and let it out. All right, give your body a nice little stretch, and whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Okay, so there's just a couple of things that I wrote down here. Just speaking of that loss of control again. So get really clear on, you know, where you feel, and the second thing that I'm going to say goes into this is about overstepping your boundaries. So when people are overstepping your boundaries or you're giving too much of yourself, this is when you're going to feel like overwhelmed. And where you feel overwhelmed, and I'm going to say when you feel resentment, is going to be where you know that your boundaries are not very strong. So recognize your boundaries of where they are and start to really place those boundaries and enforce those boundaries, because the resentment is coming from giving way too much of yourself or people overstepping your boundaries and not being able to kind of get them to respect those. And that's where that resentment comes from. Okay, so it's really like anger, and but it's also like when we get angry, it's also about hurt. So just realize that somebody's hurting you in a way that you feel like you have no control over, because they're overstepping your boundaries in some way. So that is what I got. Did everybody resonate with that? I'll talk to you guys soon. Much love. There you are. Bye-bye.